You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark. There's still fallout going on from that Time magazine interview, and there's fallout still from the absurd comments from the BET co-founder, Shelia Johnson, who happens to be the Mystics owner in the WNBA. She, of course, went on CNN and made the ridiculous comments that Caitlin Clark should just share her award with the rest of the WNBA, and the whole league should have been named the Time Athlete of the Year. Of course, there was some really bad PR in the interview from Caitlin Clark herself, and there was a lot of fallout, which we covered on the channel. Now, an NBA champion, a guy that played a long-ass time, that's got a podcast that's pretty popular, Matt Barnes, has come out and made some very interesting comments about Caitlin Clark and how the league has dealt with her, and how the league is basically petty, jealous, absurd, you name it, including this owner. And he also points out the obvious, something that we've been pointing out. No matter what Caitlin Clark does, these players and these owners are likely not to accept her for a while, if they ever do. Why? Well, she doesn't check all the boxes now, does she? So let's take a listen to this. It's a damn good sort of rant that Matt Barnes goes on. And we got the GM of the Fever also bringing up getting rid of Timmy Fabele, who, of course, ended up with the Valkyries. And I don't know if this could be related to that. Angel McCoughtry trying a WNBA comeback, but I don't know. She's a forward. I don't know if she would check the boxes. She is the one that said that she would be more than happy to come to the Fever to be the physical enforcer for Caitlin Clark. She went on with TMZ. This was way back during the season, and said, I'll tell you, I'll come to the Fever and I'll be the enforcer that can check all of these players that were, assaulting, injuring, whatever you want to call it, Caitlin Clark throughout this season. Let's take a listen to Matt Barnes.
She's damned if she does, and she's damned if she don't. Let's take a second right now to have a moment of silence for Washington Mystics owner Shelia Johnson, who suggested that the WNBA as a whole should have been on the cover of Time magazine instead of just Caitlin Clark, who graced the cover last week, which is probably some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And that's no disrespect to the ladies in the league, and we'll get to that. But the Twitter community was quick to remind Shelia that a majority of their success as far as attendance came from the Caitlin Clark effect. Over 31% of the Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. The Sparks, the Aces, the Mystics, the Dream, all moved games when Fever came in town because of the attention that Caitlin and her teammates have drawn.
Funny how that works. And now you've got owners that don't even want to acknowledge why they moved games. It's absurd.
Last season, Fever's jersey sales was up 1,000%, and attendance was up 250%. And they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000 per game. Let me say this, Caitlin Clark deserves all the flowers. I think she took a lot of shit and a lot of skeptics coming into the league, as she should. Like, she had to really prove herself. Missed out on the Olympic opportunity and really had a lot of hard knocks early on in the season where she was getting beat up and her teammates were just watching her. I think
that's very interesting. I wanted to talk about that a quick sec. Matt Barnes just called out the Indiana Fever teammates, and that was something that there was a lot of controversy around, if you remember. Her teammates not having her back. That was a thing, and that was a real thing. They were not coming in. That's where we talked about Angel McCoughtry a few minutes ago. They did not have Caitlin Clark's back. Now, he points out that he thinks that started to change later in the season. but I don't know that it has changed all that much. So we'll see.
I think the camaraderie in that locker room grew, and that team started playing together and made the playoffs. Made a nice little run. Had a solid season. In the article, the Time article, Caitlin obviously accepted the the honor, but also was quick to pay homage to the black women of the W's past who helped pave the way for herself today. So Caitlin is someone who has, if you look at it, done everything you're supposed to do and has been criticized along every step of the way. While the NBA's ratings continue to drop over 30% as they try to figure out who is going to fill the shoes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, the WNBA has a golden goose sitting in their league and has done, it's gotten better, but has done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she's brought to this game.
Okay, so that's where I'll stop it, but he's 100% right. He's 110% right. The NBA, the very league she's come into, has literally, instead of welcoming her in and understanding, oh crap, we're all going to eventually cash much larger checks because of Caitlin Clark. No, we're going to literally make it nearly impossible for her to even complete her rookie season. I mean, look, let's just look back. Diamond DeShields, of course, giving her the Ed Reed during the middle of a game, Chicago Sky game, just slamming into her like it's the NFL. Kennedy Carter, Angel Reese, the clothesline from hell. Man, if you got rid of the Chicago Sky, the assaults on Caitlin Clark would immediately be dropping by like 70%. Dejanay Carrington multiple times. The whole thing goes on, right? But the point is, I mean, you would think they would do all they can. Oh, you're accidentally slipping on the court. Let me get behind you real fast and break your fall, because we don't need our cash cow, the milk from our cash cow, drying up. We don't need that. So I got to tell you, he's 100% right. So the Fever boss came out and made these comments. There was a lot of shrapnel. I did a video when Timmy Fabile was not protected, went to the Valkyrie, and this is what Amber Cox, who's the chief operating officer and general manager, said right here about the decision. Quote, "It's really part of an overall plan, which hopefully everyone will see unfold throughout the season." She was on the In Case You Missed It podcast with Christina Williams. Not sure who that is, don't care. But again, part of a bigger plan that I hope everybody will see unfold as we get into the rest of the offseason. And of course, Cox has hinted about a free agency, which is coming up. And they do have to try to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell, right? If they lose Kelsey Mitchell, this team will take a step back. There's no doubt about it. So they got to re-sign her and add help. So this was back in June, okay? This was around the time of those Chicago Sky games. Retired WNBA star volunteers to be Caitlin Clark's bodyguard, encourages Fever to sign her. So she was lobbying then to come back. Well, here this is. This is from yesterday afternoon, late. Angel McCoughtry is trying to get back in the WNBA right now. I'm going to tell you, at one time, this lady was a baller. Angel, who is now 38 years old, last played in the league 2 seasons ago for the Lynx. However, she only played a full game. Over the course of her stellar career, AM's averaged nearly 19 points a game. Of course, most athletes approaching their 4th decade around the sun aren't looking to make a return to the court, but most athletes aren't Angel McCoughtry. I just know that I still have some left in me to help a team, and I'm ready to get out there and have some fun. I'm in some of the best shape of my life. People keep mentioning age, but what is age? It's just a number. She points out LeBron James being almost 40 and still considered one of the best players in the world. I feel like when you invest money in your body, such as LeBron, with technology today, you could play to your 50 if you want to. I don't know that anybody wants to see anybody play till 50, but I get her point. McCoughtry, a 5-time All-Star, points out LeBron is almost 40 and still considered one of the best players. I feel like when you invest money, Oh, that's the same thing. Way to go, TMZ. Angel also believes that she can be an invaluable experience to young players around the league. That's what players like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan did. They weren't afraid to be a leader. You know, I got to tell you, I kind of like the idea of the Fever bringing somebody like that in. A really grizzly old veteran just hanging out at the end of the bench, maybe getting like 4 minutes a game, 5 minutes a game. Oh, Caitlin Clark takes a flying clothesline from Angel Reese again. Oh, let me check her in because we're about to have us a forearm shiver situation out on the court, a little body check, retribution. I'm going to tell you, fans are watching the Indiana Fever this season. They're going to watch the response of this team and her teammates. Her teammates started getting called out. Rightfully so. They should have been called out. They didn't have Caitlin's back. Will they have Caitlin Clark's back this season? It's worth asking that question. There's nothing more Caitlin can do to try to get herself virtuously accepted into the league. She's taken a PR disaster over it. I don't think it's going to stop these players one bit from trying to take her out. They're going to keep doing it. They are. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.